Hey folks, Michael Mann with Michael Mann Security Services. Welcome to Physical Security 101, and this is cameras in video for houses of worship. What that looks like for security cameras, CCTV, and some considerations before you deploy this or spend your resources on cameras. All right, folks, you want to get a hold of us, you can get me at contact@michaelmannsecurityservice.com, or you can get me at mmann@fbctn.org, or you can always call me at 615-956-3912. Let's get right to it. So cameras in video. Cameras are not a catch-all or not like the ultimate um, physical protection system. It's only part of a physical protection system. Okay, it's only one element. So a physical protection system is a combination of people, procedures, and equipment that are brought together to protect an asset or critical assets that you guys are trying to safeguard. And when we start talking about cameras, it's that, that's that equipment element. Okay, so it's just one piece of an element that's included in your physical protection system. I do see a lot of churches that depend a lot on cameras, and that is not the best move or the best idea or strategy when it comes to providing physical protection. Okay, it is just one element of the system. Okay, now cameras in general and video are designed to monitor. Okay, so they're there to monitor things that occur that you're probably not going to pick up 100%. In fact, a human being is only going to pick up a small amount of this. When we'll talk about this later in human performance, but they're designed to monitor and to collect and disseminate information. So you pick something up later on, you find out there's been an incident. You go back because the cameras collected this stuff, and you go through it to provide evidence that something happened. So that's very limited when it comes to physical security, and it can provide a peace of mind. Because you've got cameras, people think, well, you have security, and that's not necessarily true. There is an element of deterrence in some cameras, but it's very small. Lighting, actually, especially for nighttime crime or incidents, is a bigger deterrent than cameras are. Lighting is the biggest deterrent. So just remember, there's a specific use for cameras. Now, they are not designed to replace human security. Let me say that one more time. A camera is not designed to replace a human being. It cannot do what a human being can do. It's only there to monitor and help you disseminate information. It cannot assess a situation. So a camera can actually help pick up, collect, disseminate, and it sometimes, if you've got a human there watching it, or you're using analytics or some sort of AI, it can detect. So it can potentially discover adversary activity, but here's what it can do. It can assess it. Assessment is the actual validation that something is happening, and a human being is going to have to go and truly validate that. So this is not designed to replace human security. And I talked about this just a second ago, human performance. It does create a false sense of security, because even if I got somebody there watching the cameras during all the services, let's say you got 2 or 3 services, you're there 4 hours, somebody can't sit there and watch cameras for 4 hours. You guys probably heard me talk about this. I worked for the United States Department of Energy, National Nuclear Security Administration for several years, and I managed large security forces. Some of the best in the world work at these nuclear weapons facilities. I have billions of dollars a year are spent to protect these locations and places, and the security personnel there are paid very, very well, 6 figures, to protect facilities. And I managed everybody from people that watch cameras to containment personnel to special weapons and tactics teams that were there to actually go in and do material rescue of this material. And so I've been around some of the best security systems in the world and managed them. But I will tell you, even in those environments, human performance is a big deal. And what we learned very quickly, and we had everything there. We had AI and systems in the cameras that would actually work with detection systems. Your church is not going to have that. And from a human performance standpoint, a person can only sit there and watch a camera for detection for a short amount of time. And then what's happened is their mind's going to wander. So it creates a false sense of security, even if you've got somebody like a monitoring room sitting there watching the cameras. A human can only do that for so long. Okay? So some things to think about there. Some considerations, scope. What is the purpose and what's going to be the location for the cameras? So the big purpose of the scope there. So what are we using the cameras for? Where we're going to place them? Lighting, especially on your exterior cameras. If you're going to put cameras in the parking lot and you've got lighting, make sure that that lighting is not going to interfere with the actual views, because it can. Some things you need to think about, especially again with exterior cameras. Legal issues. Any place where there is a reasonable expectation of privacy, you cannot put a camera. So you can't put cameras in bathrooms and locker rooms, or places again where there's a reasonable expectation, or somebody has a reasonable expectation they're going to go in there, there's going to be privacy. Technology and cost. And storage also goes into this. If you're going to buy several cameras and you're going to put them up throughout the church, guys, you're going to need other equipment. You're going to need servers. You're going to need NVRs or DVRs. And that cost, that also gets into storage of that video. What is that going to look like? The longer the storage, the more expensive, right? So your servers have to be bigger. Your DVRs and NVRs, you're going to spend more money on those. And when it comes to all this equipment, the cameras, the DVRs and or NVRs, and the servers, there's going to be an end of life. That's what we call an end of life. That's part of the cycle for all this equipment, which at some point means this stuff needs to be replaced, especially servers. Servers have a shelf life of about 5 years and some less, depending on the server, what brand it is, how much you paid for it. So these things are all going to have to be replaced at some point. And so just understand that there is an end of life with these cameras, and that's got to be considered when we start talking about budget. Okay. All right, guys, just some things to think about with cameras and physical security 101. Again, if you want to get a hold of us, you can get us at contact@michaelmannsecurityservices.com. You can call us or also contact us at mmann@fbctn.org, or you can call me anytime at 615-956-3912. And remember, folks, it is about prevention, not response.